The final section of the coffee value assessment is the extrinsic assessment. As you may recall from video 3, extrinsic attributes are distinctive elements of the coffee that come from information about the coffee. Anything that cannot be directly measured or perceived about the coffee would be an extrinsic attribute. While we as coffee people often profess that it's what's in the cup that matters, we might ask ourselves, but is it the only thing that matters? I think it's fair to say that most of us have a sense that a coffee's intrinsic qualities aren't the only thing that matters when a buyer is making a purchase decision. Let's take a look at some of the research we've seen so far that confirms the importance of these extrinsic attributes. What you know matters. SCA published a feature in 25, our biannual publication, that confirms the significant influence an extrinsic attribute can have on a consumer's tastes. While attached to an electroencephalograph, or EEG, which records brain activity, coffee drinkers were first asked to taste and rate a coffee blind. After a sip of water as a palate cleanser, they read a quick and simple explanation of a geographical indication, a type of legal protection for traditional foods that have a strong bond with a place's natural and human characteristics. Next, they were told that the second coffee they were about to taste, which, unbeknownst to them, was the same as the first, was from a place that had a geographical indication. What they found was the simple act of implying a coffee had come from a particular kind of location, not sharing any of the actual details, impacts a coffee drinker's cognitive processing while they taste it. Different parts of their brain actually light up. Another 25 feature, this one written by Professor Nizam Abdu, explores the findings of a meta-analysis of research on different kinds of eco-labels and whether consumers were willing to pay more for a coffee that was eco-labeled over one that wasn't. Across 22 different studies on how different factors affect consumers' willingness to pay, they found that people were willing to pay about $1.36 more for a pound of coffee produced in an eco-friendly way. This too maps onto a study by Arnott, Boxall, and Cash in 2006, which found that in a real-life setting, consumers were less price-sensitive and willing to pay more for coffee labeled fair trade. Even our own consumer research confirms the importance of extrinsic attributes. The specialty coffee consumer studies we undertook in 2013 and 2016 showed a growing consumer interest in a coffee's origin, sustainability attributes like organic practices, and fairness attributes like fair trade. The collaborative specialty coffee report that we release in collaboration with the National Coffee Association of the US, first released in 2021, also tracks significant consumer interest in sustainability and fairness attributes. All of this further confirms the thread of logic around why sensory testing best practice is to avoid combining different types of tests together. When we taste a coffee, any kind of extrinsic information we have not only impacts our brain's intake and interpretation of coffee's sensory properties, but influences our preferences. After assessing a coffee's intrinsic attributes using the descriptive compartment and performing a cup quality assessment in the affective compartment, coffee value assessment form users have the ability to record a coffee's extrinsic attributes too. This may include types of information about a coffee's history, including relevant traceability, origin, processing, and sustainability information. Here is an example of how an extrinsic assessment looks in the context of the coffee value assessment. It's a simple check all that apply list with ample space for non-listed extrinsic attributes. To review, the extrinsic assessment documents the informational attributes of a coffee based on common terms used in the industry. Though an ample list of typical extrinsic attributes is provided, other important attributes can be added. This assessment completes the picture of a coffee.